For starters, I want to give you guys a little bit of context. The Office of Community Partnerships was established in February of 2011. We celebrated our 3-year anniversary not too long ago. And it was really created in order to try to help advance university collaborations. Today is actually a milestone for us as a university, because over the past 3 years, what we've done is a tremendous amount of capacity building to try to get to the point where we're at now, where we have a better sense of what we're doing and where we're doing it and who we're doing it with. And so now we're looking forward to the next phase of this work as we continue to try to build stronger, more intentional collaborations, as well as to gain a better understanding of what kind of impact we're actually having. We've made great progress, but there's still a lot to go. But for starters, the Office of Community Partnerships was established, as I said, to really advance both university and community priorities through collaborative community partnerships. When I first arrived around 3 years ago, I spent the first couple months actually meeting with nearly 200 faculty and staff. Because, in the nature of, and in the spirit of being collaborative, we really wanted this to be an office that was meeting the needs and the expectations of the stakeholders we would be working with. And so it became apparent one thing that we had here was a real treasure trove of activities that were going on here at the university. But we didn't really fully have them documented, nor did we, like I opened with, fully understand where and who we were working with. So first we went ahead and we decided to come up with a system for gathering and organizing data and analyzing it so we can really try to advance the partnerships. At the same time, there was a deep desire by the university and community stakeholders to see this office serve as a hub for collaboration, to help stakeholders, whether they're from the community or from the university, to connect with colleagues who are working on similar topics, related issues, to try to advance overall collective impact in the work that we're doing. So this actually has been a second major role of the office. In addition to documentation and organizing our collaborations, we've actually really strived to try to help facilitate partnerships. And it's something that I think we're actually really well poised to even expand further as we're moving forward. Now, that's not to say that we haven't been busy serving this facilitator role. Last year, actually over the past 18 months, we had about 450 partnership planning meetings and requests from faculty, staff, students, and community partners that we sat down and we met with. And actually, we've had a little bit of success doing it as well. About a year ago, we actually facilitated a couple of partnerships that resulted in around $2 million in funding to support community-based, community-engaged research activities and training programs. So as someone who has a background in urban planning and in nonprofit management, I really I'm very data-oriented, but I'm also looking at how we can have collaborations that are very holistic in nature and that really are meeting individual stakeholder needs and goals, as well as a shared agenda that we've created through these collaborations. In our mission, it states the University of Massachusetts Boston is a public research university with a dynamic culture of teaching and learning and a special commitment to urban and global engagement. Our distinguished scholarship, dedicated to teaching and engaged public service, are mutually reinforcing, creating new knowledge while serving the public good of our city, our commonwealth, our nation, our world. And this is really important because if we're talking about a shared agenda and we're talking about shared goals, this is how the university engages with our communities. This is the type of information we've been looking to try to capture and try to strengthen here at the university. You'll see a line that says engagement, and it specifically says that as a campus community, we address critical social issues and contribute to the public good, both local and global. Under our urban commitment, it says our work is marked by a particular commitment to urban places, people, and culture, and issues, and by an acknowledgement of their complex local, national, and global connection. Partnering with urban institutions and residents, we help create sustainable and healthy social fabrics, economies, service, organizations, civic and cultural institutions. Now, this isn't something that we just decided to do overnight. This is truly ingrained in the fabric of UMass Boston. It actually goes back to our founding. We were a pioneer as a part of an original coalition of Urban 13. Urban 13 were 13 universities that were created in cities around the country, dedicated to not only helping to increase educational access, but also committed to sharing research to try to help address and solve some of the greatest challenges that manifest themselves within our cities. This group would eventually expand to 22, which you can actually see on the map by the large red circles. They kept the name Urban 13. Then it would morph into the Great Cities Universities. And eventually, it would turn into other coalitions, including the Coalition of Urban and Metropolitan Serving Universities and the Coalition of Urban and Metro Universities. We're also a proud member of Campus Compact and a part of Massachusetts Campus Compact. There's around 70 members of Massachusetts Campus Compact who work with, and actually the Chancellor has shown tremendous leadership in co-chairing their advisory committee. So what are we talking about when we talk about partnerships? When I say community engaged partnerships specifically, we are specifically focused on activities that work directly with stakeholders outside of education. We refer to these people as external stakeholders to address or better understand a societal issue or concern. Once again, these are partnerships that address community need while advancing university teaching, research and service, and economic development. I emphasize this point again because the first step in partnership building is, again, agenda sharing. While we refer to external stakeholders as those outside of academia, we do collaborate with members of higher education throughout the country. And again, we serve in a leadership capacity. We just make the distinction here so that way we can hit home the point that what we're talking about really is engagement that goes beyond the walls and the conference halls of academia. So when we define partnerships, we really feel that they fall along a continuum that often requires a process for advancing through the phases of partnership development. This doesn't mean we discount or disregard networking partnerships for collaborations. We really feel that everybody has something to contribute, whether they are early in their phases of collaboration or partnership, or if maybe they have historically never been involved before. We do think that everyone, from academia as well as from the community, has an expertise, has an experience that they can contribute to a more holistic effort. So now that we have a little bit more context, let's get into the data. So to explain this slide a little bit, as I said, our first attempt was actually in 2012 to capture information and data about our partnerships. To date, we've documented 938 programs and initiatives that are community engaged and community serving that UMass Boston's a part of. 482 of our faculty and staff are working on these programs with 1,975 community partners. Our faculty, staff, and community partners are very active with each other, and so many times they'll have multiple connections to multiple partners. And so it actually has resulted in program partner connections of 2,765. Part of the reason why this is important is because as we analyze the data and we try to find out who we're working with and where our strengths are, we're also going to be able to identify where are there opportunities for more collaboration. Who should we be inviting to the table that hasn't previously been engaged? Now, I would like to take a second to kind of explain the dramatic jump that you see in our data. The dramatic jump actually is due in large part because many of you who are in this room, a lot of our faculty and our staff and community partners have done a tremendous job sharing additional information with us. But I also really must recognize the leadership of our chancellor, of our provost, of our vice chancellor, Ed Lambert, who introduced us, as well as of our associate vice chancellor, John Ciccarelli, who's in the back of the room, we haven't introduced. Under their tremendous leadership and their guidance, and because of them, we were able to expand our capacity in the Office of Community Partnerships. So I turned from an office of one last January to be able to hire a part-time GIS and program specialist. And then in February, we were able to bring on an assistant director as well as another part-time database specialist. Now I'm going to run through the data for you guys. OCP, Office of Community Partnerships, has organized our information into 4 categories with 24 subcategories. As you can see, the 4 primary topics are community, economic development, education, environment, sustainability, and health. Within these 4 categories, 49% of all the programs and initiatives that we're working on with community partners fall within the category of community and economic development. And so we broke it down a little bit further for you. And so what you can see is that we have these subcategories of cultural arts and governance, inclusion and access, public safety. Who we're working with. Our partner organizations, out of the 1,975 that we have documented, 41% are nonprofit organizations. 6% are actually businesses. And I remind you all that we do have small business and minority business incubators here on campus. We also do a variety of other economic development activities that target historically underserved communities and populations, and we're proud to be partnering with these organizations. 17% government institutions, and you'll note that K-12 education, which would typically fall under a government institution, has actually been pulled out because of the volume of partners that we have that actually represent about 9% of all our overall collaborations. Now, here's a map of where our partnerships are in the city of Boston. Our partners who live in the city of Boston, work in the city of Boston, and primarily serve Boston residents make up around 33% of all of our partners. Now, if you move to the state level, excluding those partners who I just described, but including partners who may be housed in Boston but serve the entire Commonwealth, 46% of all of our partners fit into this category. If you combine our Boston partners with our statewide partners, it comes up to 79%. Now, here's a map that focuses exclusively on the community and economic development partnerships. Our global partnerships and our national partnerships, 17% of our partners span the United States, 4% are global in nature. And on this map, if it's in orange, we're pretty much working with them all the way around the globe. And here's just a breakdown of those numbers again. 655 partners are primarily serving and based in Boston. 912 span the state. If you add the two of those up together, it comes up to the total amount for all of our partners in the Commonwealth. Then our national number is 329 and 79% international, or 79 international partnerships. And again, this only includes partnerships that we have documented, which I can't hit home that point enough. We have an extensive process for trying to gather data, and we're still trying to expand and build upon it. Now, a very interesting data point, especially within the university, is how we're partnering with our community-based organizations. As you can see, the majority of projects are supporting one of the three faculty and staff priority areas. And so the initials stand for T for teaching, R for research, and S for service. You can see a clear majority of them of projects supporting primarily one of the three categories. We have roughly 200 programs that are supporting multiple, and around 75 or so programs that are supporting all three. You'll also see a huge bar for service, and that's in large part because of our expertise as well as our students who are going out there and actually working within the communities and lending their expertise within communities. So quickly, we're focused on partnerships and we're focused on impact. With our impact data, we're looking at individuals within a targeted population, we're looking at the organizational level, and we're looking at systems and policy. At the institution, we're looking at, first and foremost, our students and the impact our collaborations have on them. We're looking at our faculty and staff impacts, and we look at institutional impact. And so to try to illustrate this, I'm going to give you guys some examples that will actually be featured in our poster session right after this session. If you look at our pre-collegiate programs, we have a tremendous amount of success with our pre-collegiate programs. Some of this data is what makes it all the more impressive is when you consider the high school graduation rate nationally is around 43%. And is lower typically in urban communities. And our programs don't have a success rate any less than 90% high school. And actually, usually, it's between 93 and I think 100% that are enrolling in college after these students go through our pre-collegiate programs. I think this kind of speaks to the impact and the value that we're adding in this field. Some other examples, our Campus Kitchens program helped prepare 11,894 nutritious meals, serving 419 families. A lot of people don't realize that we have a program on campus that helps provide food to 5 community-based organizations to try to help feed families in need. We have this phenomenal Pension Action Center, which has supported 7,100 people and recovered $44.5 million in benefits that have previously gone unclaimed. And we have a new initiative that we're really excited about, and I put this in here because of the fact that there's projected outcomes. But this Chelsea Achieves in Mathematics is hoping to help early educators demonstrate significantly increased capacity in the teaching of mathematics, as well as in the actual acquisition and capacity of youth. We're looking at policy and organizational level. We have a tremendous partnership with Brazilian population, the Brazilian Immigrant Center specifically, as well as one that's transnational and actually reaches into Brazil. And we had a recent community-based participatory research project that helped to discover that 81% of the survey respondents use their earning to support others, but there's a tremendous amount of wage theft that goes on. There's a tremendous amount of job creep because of a lack of contracts. This has actually resulted directly into a proposed domestic workers' rights bill that we're hoping will pass. The Massachusetts Small Business Development Center that I mentioned earlier has a tremendous impact on our communities and our businesses, including helping to support over 470 clients through 1,400 counseling sessions. And finally, just impact on university to run through these. We have a tremendous program in our Jumpstart program, has a huge impact on our student development, whereas 96% of our students report that it's helped to build leadership skills in them. An interesting statistic, which some of the other deans in the room may not be too excited to hear about, is that 22% of all the Jumpstart students who go through the program switch their major to education because of the fact that they have such a wonderful experience working with youth. We have, as far as impact on institution, let it be known that 62% of all the grant revenue that we brought in this past year was directly connected to a community-engaged, community-serving project. Now, as somebody who formerly worked with over 50 colleges and universities throughout Florida and worked with dozens of others throughout the country, I can tell you that this is probably 3 or 4 times the amount as far as percentage goes than what you'll find at almost any other research institution. So finally, some next steps. As always, our work definitely hinges on interest and capacity. And anybody who's met with me, whether you're a community partner, faculty member, staff, or student, knows that's how I almost start all of our meetings, is interest and capacity. But what we really are hoping to do is increase collaboration within the university and with our partners. So that means getting more faculty and staff from different disciplines, from different units, working together on similar projects and activities, learning from each other, as well as how can this office continue to expand capacity. Part of that is going to be, and I see Sherrod Williams from our Office of Student Leadership Community Engagement sitting here. We're going to be sitting down shortly to look at some of their alternative break programs or send students overseas, and are there more opportunities for students to benefit from the research that our faculty and the classes that our faculty offer here on campus. And how can we do this very intentionally to enhance our learning outcomes? What you see here is just an image I personally love a lot. Sandia, Lauren, and Kathleen have been instrumental in helping to develop a new database, which eventually will become online and hopefully will serve as a portal for folks who are looking to gain access to our data. You want to work with somebody who's working in education in Chelsea? Piece of cake, run a filter. Run a quick search for it. We have over 164,000 data points that we've been able to gather to date, and they are all connected through this relational database. We're hoping to get there, but as of right now, what you will find, actually, if you go to the Office of Community Partnerships website, is an interactive map, and this actually shows an image of the globe. And what you'll find is if you hover over any of the little dots, you'll be able to see who's the partner, where they're at, and who are they working with on campus and on what project. So just as an example here, this is a partnership that Mary Lou Love is working on with ABCD Head Start program. It's a school readiness program itself. And so this is actually available on our website right now for anybody who's looking for collaborations. And again, it's to try to help facilitate additional collaborations as a university. We have decided to keep our database open until the end of April. So if you're in the room and your partnership activities hasn't been documented yet, there's actually a web link up there you can visit. In order to submit your partnership information, we will have a report that will be issued in May about a full status of partnerships and collaboration with the university. So this concludes our State of the Partnership address. I do appreciate all of you once again coming. I will remain if you have any questions or would like to talk about any of this activities. And again, thank you.